What time is it, my creatives? That's right, it's photo hacking time, and it's Charlotte Salcedo, your host, and today we are going to be blending these two images together to make this lovely Bob Ross Renaissance painting. So, the first portrait is Portrait of Baldassare Castiglione by Raffaello Sanzio. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And the second image is of Bob Ross. We're going to be manipulating Bob Ross onto the portrait of Baldassare Castiglione. So this is going to be so much fun. So let's get into it. So your materials for this project are going to be in the link down in the description below. Now, if you want me to do more tutorials like this where I offer free materials and help you guys, you're going to need to subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up and watch the video into its entirety. This helps my channel grow. The more my channel grows, the more sponsors that I can get to help make more videos for you guys. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So this is what I created in the end result. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and recreate this whole thing from scratch with you guys. So you're just going to need two paintings, the Baldassare and the Bob Ross. And I am going to put that in the project folder for you guys. Now, I took this picture and I already added a sepia filter on it. So this makes it easier that you guys don't have to do that editing. So we're going to go to File New, and we're going to create a new document. And we want a photo document. We want the portrait to be 5x7, 300 resolution. Color mode RGB is fine, and the background is white because it doesn't matter. We're going to place the image over it. So you just press OK and open up this new document here. Now, the first picture we're going to put in here is the portrait of Baldassare Castiglione. And we're going to press Control A to select it all, Control C, and make sure that you select your layer to affect it. And then you're going to go over to our lovely Untitled document here, and then we're going to press Control V. And this is going to paste the document onto here. Now I'm going to go into here and convert this to a smart object, and this way we don't lose a resolution size when we increase the size. So we're going to press Control T to select the document so we can resize it, and we're just going to drag it like so until the edges are no more, because we don't want those shitty edges. Okay, and then we're just going to resize it like so. Okay, so now you can just rasterize this layer, that's fine, and you can delete the bottom layer. So now we're going to duplicate this layer, okay, and we're going to hide this layer for now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to, we're going to close this one out so we don't get confused because we've already accepted that one. Well, we've already taken the picture. And we're going to go back to Bob Ross, and we're going to just use the lasso tool just to select his face and hair just really quickly like so. And it doesn't matter because we're going to do a layer mask, so excuse me. Now press Control C and make sure you have the layer selected to affect it. And go back over to your document and press Control V. Now this is going to need to be in between here because we're going to do a layer mask. Okay? So now his head is not positioned the right way. And I know this is a facing forward position from this, you know, old dead dude's painting. But we're going to try to match it up as good as we can. And this is photo manipulation, so we need to practice these skills. So what we're going to do is we need to face his head the opposite direction. So this is very simple to do. We're going to go to Edit, Transform, And then we are going to flip his face horizontal. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to go back over here to his face, and we're going to make a layer mask. It's very simple to do. You're just going to click this little square thing with a hole in it. Voila. Now, the thing about layer mask is you're going to make sure that you have the black and the white selected. The black removes and the white puts it back on. So it's kind of like an eraser, but not. So that's the best way I can describe it. Now you're going to click on this white area, and you can start erasing to reveal it. But first, we need to resize him in the right spot. So first, I'm going to lower down the opacity here, and I'm going to take Bob Ross and press Control T, and we're going to get him positioned a little bit there. I think that's about right. And put the opacity back up. I think that looks good. I don't know, is his head big enough? Let's make it a little bit bigger. And it's very important that I'm going to tell you guys a trick. Okay. So you see how the eyeglasses go right above the ear? The top of the eye always is parallel to the top of the ear. Okay? And the bottom of your ear is always parallel to the bottom of your lips. That's why it's very important when you're working in Photoshop and to get these dimensions right, you need to have some kind of take some drawing classes first. You know, get your perspectives correctly. And so that's what makes it easier to work in Photoshop when you're doing photo manipulations. You really need to know these types of things. So taking a drawing class would really help with these types of perspectives. So now that we know that we have this lined up pretty sort of good, this is probably as good as it's gonna get. We're gonna go ahead and do the layer mask, and I'm gonna just pump up the pump him up here, and I think that looks pretty good. I don't know. I think the eye here, it needs a little work, so I'm gonna warp that down a little bit. Transform and warp. And this side is a little bit too high. There. Done. So that's looking pretty good. I like the way that looks. So now we're going to go back over here and we're going to do the layer mask. And I'm going to get a brush. You want to get a soft brush. And you want to take down the opacity so you can see what you're doing in the flow. And just increase the size a little bit. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to reveal Bob Ross's head where this dude, old dead dude's head is. So, hold on. Okay, I had the opacity down too much, so I'm going to push it up a little bit. There. You can see what's going on here. And you can see that his face needs to be a little bit more over. So I'm going to move that. I think I'm going to do a liquefy. Filter, liquefy. I need to push his face over a little bit to the left. Okay. A little bit more. Oh, that's messed that up. And I'm using this tool here, the liquefy tool. You can see the settings here. Push a little bit. His face is a little bit over. I think that looks good. His eyeglasses over a little bit. His forehead a little bit over. Okay. Alright. And let's go. Whoops, I messed up my colors here. I gotta go put the black and the white back. Black and white. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this layer and I'm going to reveal. Do I have the black selected? Yeah, I do. So we're just gonna start erasing here to reveal Bob Ross underneath. Like so. Okay. And I'm gonna have to push his face over a little bit more. Edit, transform, warp. Okay. It's just about tweaking. It really is. Oh. Gotta get those eyes parallel with the ears. I don't like the way that went down. I'm going to try something else. Edit, transform, skew. No. I'm gonna Control Z that. Let me just use the regular. I'm gonna rotate his head a little bit. It's just not working for me. He's not in the right spot. There. Sorry, I'm getting this. It's tweaking his face. Okay. Okay, I think I need to make it a little bit bigger. It's just all about trying to get the proportions right, and I think I got it the way I want to, but it needs to move down a little bit. And a little bit over. See if I can do a perspective. Okay, I did not like that. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna try again because I don't like the way this looks. So I'm gonna go over to Bob, Control C, his head, Control V, and I'm gonna flip his head, edit, transform, flip horizontal. I'm gonna press Control T, and I basically have cut out where I want the face pretty much. So this makes it easier. And I'm just enlarging it, make it bigger. See how I like it. Okay. See here. Okay, I think I like it like that. Yeah, that looks a whole lot better. Okay then. So I'm gonna continue with my layer mask. I'm gonna start deleting areas. Whoops. I want to place this back on here. I'm gonna paint his hat back on. There we go. And I got some of it off. There we go. And I just want to do a little bit of liquify on his face. Filter liquify. And that's it. Get some of the shadows from the hat in there. Right. That's too much. Whoopsies, I'm doing it right on the layer. Right. Edit. I messed up. Redo. Edit. Redo liquify. Okay, there we go. Edit, transform, and warp. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to brush back on his forehead a little bit. See this area here. His hat. His face. Want to get as much as Bob Ross as we can. We're gonna put a curly beard on him, so that's fine and dandy. I'm gonna bump up the opacity now and the flow so I can get all of Bob Ross's lovely features back. There we go. And now we can see that we need to liquefy the cheek just a little. Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay, that's good. And that looks really good. I like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna do a filter, hard light, and lower the opacity. Bring back some of Bob's features. You can see how that looks. I'm gonna merge that down. Wow, what a difference, right? What a difference on the skewing. I really messed that up. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our beard brush in here. Just 1 second. I went back and I skewed it a little bit better again because I just didn't like the way it looked. I thought it could look a little bit better. So I played around with that for a while and got the proportionates correct. So, yeah. So now what we're going to go in and do is we're going to add the beard. And at the last thing we're going to do, we're going to add some details to his face. So I'm going to create a new layer and I am going to put it above the layer mask. And I'm going to get a brush. I'm going to sample from here. I'm going to make the dark facial hair first. So I'm going to get like a dark brown color. And I have this beard brush here that I'm going to use. I'm going to lower the settings here, get in and zoom in here and start making the facial hair. Let's see here. Okay, that's too large, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. It's a little bit too large. Okay. I'll just make some little teeny facial hairs. Hold on 1 second. So I'm just making the little teeny facial hairs everywhere. Kind of building up his beard. All around. Some little hair, stubble hair there, the mustache. Just building it up. And then you're gonna go over it with a brown, just a little bit darker. Let's make the stubble here. I think I like it. So I went back and tweaked the face just a little bit more and I masked out the areas here and I think it looks better. So remember how to use the masking tool. So I'm going to go back and finish doing hair. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to erase this layer and I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to get the brush tool and I'm going to select a darker brush, like a dark brown, because we're going to be making a beard. And I'm going to select this hair sample brush. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to be making the beard line here. Like so. We need the darker first because the hair won't show up. Like all hair is like dark on the bottom and light at the top. So making this look authentic. And I'm just gonna make more beard over here. Make it come down like so. And that's perfect. It doesn't have to be like super perfect because we're going to draw over it pretty much. And I'm going to erase some of this because I got too much on the side of the face. And erase some of this. And erase some of this. We got way too many shadows here going on. And that looks about right. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with a light brush. I'm going to choose this color, and here is my curly hair brush. Now we are going to go in here and we're just going to lightly color over these curls here. I mean the beard area. And it's going to be just little micro curls. Oops. The heck? Did I not get my brush? And or just make little teeny curls like so all over the face. Because Bob has curly hair, it's not as straight like the other dudes. He is very known for his afro curls. We're just making little curls everywhere. Curl, curl, curl. Get some of his afro sticking out the side and the side of his glasses. Because you know he can't tame that curl mane. I got curly hair too. It's everywhere. I mean, it is literally everywhere. And we're gonna go over this with a darker color too. Well, underneath, like a black curl, maybe, and then a lighter curl on top to kind of blend it all together. It should look like that. You want to disguise the fact that his ear is a little bit smaller than the rest of his body. Actually, we could do something about that. I'm just going to select this ear. Control C, put a new layer. Control V, and then Control T to make it slightly bigger. I don't know. What do you guys think? That looks good? Alright, so now we need a darker color. Mix it in. Oopsies. So we want to see the edges here where there's an edge. Natural hair doesn't have that thing, so we are gonna blend that hard line out because we don't want that. And just blending, blending. This is kind of tedious making the little curls of Bob Ross, but it's fun. I think the one I did before was so much better. Sometimes it bees like that. I lose my artistic eye sometimes. Everybody does. It happens, you know. But we're gonna try to make it work. Yep. Make it work. Let's put some curls around his ears to disguise the fact that that shit is so ugly. Alright. So that's looking good. I want to do something here. I wanted to resize that a little bit. I didn't like the way that it looked. I'm going to go back and add part of the hat back on. So I'm going to get my brush, my layer masking brush, and I'm going to use a hard one this time. Simply because the fact that this is a hat edge, so you don't want it to be soft. I'm just painting it back on like so. Let me zoom in here. I think that's looking really good. Alright, so one of the things I did with Bob Ross is that I did paint like highlights in his eyes and stuff. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to take this really light brown, and I'm going to take a very soft pressured brush, and I'm going to reduce the size to like 3. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to put some highlights in his eyes because the original painting is like really crystal blue eyes, and I think that a highlight would look really good here. Because that's what I did in the last painting. I just painted a little highlight here, and then we're going to do a blend mode. So don't worry about the way that it looks. And I'm going to do a blend mode. I think the color dodge looks really good. Then I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to... Oh, I'm going to put some white in his eyes. I'm going to sample from the face. I'm going to get the same tool, and I'm going to put a little sparkle in his eye. Right there. And you see how the edges of the eyes are not white enough? I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to put the opacity down really low and the flow down really low. And I'm just going to draw back in there some white. I know this is not typically the way that this is done, but it is what it is. There's many ways to do things in Photoshop. I am going to blur this out, smudge it a little bit. Whoops, that's too much. Let me lower this brush and just smudge it a little bit in there. Okay, I'm going to zoom out. And I think that looks pretty good. And I'm going to take these two and merge them together. And I'm going to take this down. Wait. Did I merge the wrong layers together? You can undo that. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to merge all the eye layers together. And I'm going to go down here and merge it down. Okay. So that is that. Now I'm going to go in here and just tweak his face a little bit. And then we're going to add some highlights, dodge and burn, and we'll be done. Oops. Actually, I think it looks good the way it is. I don't want to mess with it, so I'm just going to do some dodging and burning. I'm going to create a new layer. Control Shift E to create a new layer. And I'm going to do some dodging and burning. So this is the dodge tool. And I'm going to lighten up the eyes here a little bit, around the eyes and the lips. And we're going to add some pink into the lips too. We're going to lighten the hair a little bit. There. Make it more Bob Rossy. He has kind of like an orangey hair type. And that's looking good. And I'm going to add some pink on the lips. Just a little tone. Oh, that looks good. I'm going to get my brush here. And I'm going to bump up the size. And just paint a little bit of pink on the lips. Bring back that pinkness in the lips. And then I'm going to add a blend mode. See, that looks pretty good. Maybe you'll have a little bit of color in his cheeks. You know, make it a little bit more Renaissance-y. A little bit of pink in the beard. A little bit on the ears. Lighten them up. You know, ears are always like a pinkish tone. I think put some highlights here, some pink highlights. Make him look really fetch. Oh yeah. Okay, this is looking good. See, that's the before and the after. That looks pretty good. I'm going to merge that down. And now I'm just going to tweak this photo a little bit. Okay, so I just did some warping again. And I'm going to do the burn tool now. So I'm going to add some burning to some of the parts of the lower part of his beard where the shadows would be. And I'm gonna lower the opacity here. He needs to have a little bit of shadow under his face here, because everybody does. And I'm gonna just put a little bit of shading here. Bring out the 3D dimensions, or whatever you want to call it. Darken up some of his highlights in his face and on the glasses, make them a little bit more crisper. And that's looking pretty good. And I'm gonna use the dodge tool to lighten up the glasses on the edge right here. But I'm gonna go into highlights. I'm gonna bring the brush down pretty low. Okay, and that is going to highlight the glasses and give it a little gold tone. Whoops, that's too much. It's too much! Okay. That's too much. I'll make the brush a little bit smaller. There we go. Lassie. We're just going around the edges of the rim. Just kind of trying to make that glasses stand out. So it doesn't look photoshopped. I think I did a little bit too much there. I'm gonna lower the exposure. Lasse. Sometimes when I get weird, I talk with an Irish or London accent. I don't know why I do that. It's weird. It's one of my weird quirks. Okay, that looks pretty cool. So, I think I need to burn the hair down here to make it match the rest of the beard. And add a couple more filters here and we should be done. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to go to filter, other, high pass, and I'm going to do a blend mode. And this gives it a more realistic look, I guess. Turn it on and off. You can see that a lot of the details are coming back into Bob Ross's face. So I'm going to merge that down. And I'm going to play with the curves. This is to get our photo just right. Oh, I think that's too much. No. I'm gonna duplicate this layer and then play with the curves and then do a blend mode. Adjustments, curves. Oh, now it wants to work for me. And you're just basically dragging the edge to kind of like get a look that you're trying to achieve. I think that looks okay, and you can preview it before and after. Oh no, I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. I don't like the curves. I'm gonna try highlights. Image adjustments, shadows and highlights. There we go. Shadows. Oh, there we go. That's looking super fetch. Oh, yes. Okay. That is what we're looking for. I think that's absolutely perfect. And this is our Bob Ross painting completed. It looks really good. It actually looks better than the original. I think so. This was the original. And this is the remake. So I think I made this one look a little bit more realistic. What do you guys think? Before I did this one, well, I like the way his face is proportionate. And, you know, I skewed this one perfectly. I'm not going to lie. The skewing, the direction and everything is perfect. But I like the color better in this one. I think I did a better job in this one with the coloring. So, I don't know. So that's basically how we got this result. And tell me what you guys think about this tutorial. Did you like the Bob Ross tutorial? How did it go for you? Let me know in the comments below. You know, I screwed up a little bit too. So, I mean, we're not perfect. You know, we're all doing these tutorials together, but this is how I do my photo manipulations. This is just something fun that you can do. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks so much for being a part of my creative family. And next time. I'll see you guys next time.